Alright, I'm going to start off installing electronics with the servos here. And again, I'm using Futaba S9252 servos. So the hardware to mount the servos that you get these little metal backing plates, and then you get the screws that screw into the backing plates. But you don't get any kind of washer, and you don't get any servo plates, which are these things. Now, these things come in handy for two reasons. First, you wouldn't want to take your screw and just slide it through without using a washer. Okay? And they don't give you any washers. So that's kind of what these servo plates are for. You can mount them on there and then put the screw down through. And that way, once you put both screws there, it really locks your servo down. Now the other reason these things are good is when you mount your front aileron and pitch servos, when you actually mount them in there, if you don't use a spacer, these are going to hit together. Now, again, the kit doesn't come with any spacers included, so you can use these little servo plates. Just put one in back of the servo on each side, and that'll keep them out just far enough so they don't hit each other when you mount them in there. So, and then if you don't get these, you're going to have to make some kind of spacer to keep the servos from hitting. So that's what I'm going to start with first. And the front servos here, I'm going to mount it with the output shaft facing up. And then this back one here for my elevator, I'll mount it just like that. So I'm going to do that first, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my skids on. And you might remember I had bought new skid horses. Now originally I thought these things might be pretty strong, but I'm not using very much force here. See how much that flexes? Alright, these are the line skids. And I'm really trying to bend that. These don't bend. So, again, definitely upgrade the skid horses. So, I'm going to start mounting my servos, get my skid mounted, and then I'll come back. Alright, before I go ahead and mount my ESC, I just figured I'd go through and show you the programming for it. So I've got a Turnigy K4 Series 150 amp Opto ESC. This is the same thing as the Hobbywing version. This is actually cloned off of that. So this one does not contain a BEC, so I've got a separate one wired in here. I've got a Turnigy 7.5 amp ESC here. And this is just wired. You can see the wires for it. Just come up, and they're just wired into the Dean's connector there. So I'll be good with that. So as far as programming this, you can program it with your transmitter, or you can just go ahead and get yourself a little program box. Now, Hobby City did not have the program box in stock for the Turnigy there, so I went ahead and ordered up a Hobbywing ESC program box here. Comes in a nice little box. Open it up. It's got the instructions at the bottom. Got a little CD of some little software program that you can use in conjunction with programming your ESC, as well as the little USB cord for that. So make sure you go through and read the instructions so that you understand all the options. And on my website, I'm going to put a link so you can go to the Hobbywing website, and it's got even more detailed instructions for how to program your ESC. So what I'm going to do is, you can see here on the ESC, it has two sets of wires coming off of it, long one and short one. So what I want to do is take the short one, plug it into the side of the program box here, and just make sure you follow the wiring code. Now I'm going to hook up the BEC, and again, make sure you follow the wiring code. So now I've got both of those connected. Just going to make sure this switch is on. Yep. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and plug my ESC into the battery. You'll actually see the box turn on. Okay, when the box first turns on, mine says Hobbywing, and it shows me the firmware, just kind of like the basic instructions programmed into the ESC. Mine's got the latest one, 1.02. If yours needed to be updated, it would actually tell you upgrade your firmware. So real quickly, I'm just going to hit this button, and it's going to flash. It's going to connect the program box to the ESC, and it's going to flash the mode that the ESC is set for. Now, the ESC can be used for both an RC car and an RC helicopter or airplane, but the modes for them are different. So if you just hit this little RP button, it'll show you what mode the ESC is already set at. Mine comes already programmed for an RC helicopter / plane, so I can just leave that be. So I'm just going to click the return item button, So again, make sure you go through, read the instructions, all the that'll give you a detailed explanation of all the settings. So I'm just going to kind of run through. Brake mode, I do want that off, so I'm just going to click item, go to the next setting. Battery type, want that set on LiPo. Voltage cutoff mode, you can have a hard cutoff or a soft cutoff. Hard cutoff when you set your ESC to reduce power when the battery hits a preset voltage. Hard cutoff means it's just going to cut power. Soft cutoff means it's going to gradually reduce power. So I want that on soft cutoff mode, so I'll just go to the next value. This is the voltage protection. This is where you set the cutoff limit for the battery. You've got low, medium, and high, and then you can actually enable a custom setting where you can set any voltage that you want. I like mine on high, and the settings, low is 2.85 volts per cell, medium is 3.15 volts per cell, high is 3.3 volts per cell. Now I try not to run my battery below 3.7 volts, so I'm going to go ahead and set mine on high. And what this is, if you just hit the value button, it'll scroll through the different options. So again, I want mine on high, so I'm just going to click OK, say save data OK, and now I can move to the next setting. Start mode, it's got a couple different settings. It's got normal, soft, and very soft. For a big helicopter, you want it on very soft. I'm going to click OK, save data OK, and just keep going down. Timing mode, I'm just going to leave that at the default setting. Governor mode, I want that off. Motor type, I'm going to leave it on normal motor. If I got to go in and change it later, I'll go in and change it later. PWM frequency, this has to do with the type of motor you use. Some motors, you can change it to 24 kHz, kilohertz, or whatever, and that'll make your motor run smoother, but it'll also heat your ESC up more. So most helicopters, most motors, you're going to want to leave that on the default setting. Oop, but you can see here, different ones there. BEC voltage, that's just what the voltage the BEC is set at. And that is really the last thing I need to change. So now I'm going to do is go ahead, unplug the battery. You can see here, go ahead, unplug this, and now I'm going to go ahead and mount my ESC and BEC.